Hi everybody, we're here with Brenda and Shelly Marie, and they're going to tell us about our new Xodus Heat Set Mediums.
Hi guys. So as you know, Genesis had shut down, Shelly, about a year ago now?
Yeah,
been about a year. And we still have a lot of the Genesis left in stock, but we've got mostly the new formula. So those of you who have been a regular heat set user of Genesis, you'll know that there is a difference between the original formula and the new formula Genesis. Now in the meantime, along with many others, we've decided to do our utmost to come out with our own brand of a heat set paint. But Shelly, of course, has been working tirelessly in trying to get it as close to the look and feel of Genesis as possible.
Yeah.
Shelly actually took, she was one of the, how many took that course with Genesis?
Well, there's only 10 in Canada.
10 artists in Canada that took
And I was the
actual
youngest.
accreditation with Genesis, with the inventor.
Yeah.
So she's learned a lot about the components and how it all works. So
Yep.
anyway, we've been tirelessly working with a paint factory and in laboratory. And we're not, Shelly's feeling like she's not quite there with the colors, but she does feel that you guys are long overdue, ready for some mediums to go that will work with your Genesis.
With the
So
Genesis and
without talking too much, Shelly, she discovered along the way that our new Xodus Mediums actually work beautifully with both the original formula Genesis and the new formula. And that being that it heat sets at the regular temperature.
Yes.
It has the same viscosity.
Yes.
Am I using?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to let you loose and just talk about these 5 mediums that you've done so far.
All right. So basically, I've been working with these, trying to get them as close to Genesis as possible. People are asking me, well, what makes me so special with working with the Genesis? You alluded into, I was one of the ones that got to take lessons and classes from the two inventors.
Yeah.
There's two co-inventors.
Okay. Yeah.
And basically, I was chosen for that class because I was teaching at the time, and they wanted the teachers to go out and promote their products. So that's how that came about. Now I have been working with the mediums, and they're not readily available out on the market. You really do have to have a factory to get the main ingredients of these.
We've been working
mediums.
hard with
We've gone
many
to two,
ingredients.
Yeah, we've actually on our second factory. Brenda here is actually going to be bringing them in at a very reasonable price.
Yeah,
that's why she left the first company. The first company we worked with was actually too expensive, so the second one is coming in a lot nicer, and we're hoping they're going to work out for us. But anyways, get quickly into this before this gets too long. We have 5 mediums. We have a thick medium. Thick medium is usually used when you are making hair, eyebrows, the same as what the thick medium was with Genesis. When you open it up, you'll see that it's very thick and chunky, the same as the thick that was with the Genesis. Now, there is something you need to know is I went by the original Genesis when I was taught how to work with Genesis. As years went by, Amco, who had bought the patent for the Genesis recipe, changed the recipe, and anybody who are diehard Genesis will tell you that as well.
It changed.
It changed.
Right.
So this is how the original recipes were, and this is how the thick was. It had a white but a very gel looking way to it, and it stuck up when you put it in. And I think Amco actually made it a little stiffer than it did
I remember
as they
that.
went. They did.
It was
something
always kind of hard to scoop it out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The and then we went from the thick and the thinner. I'm going to come back to it in a minute because this has some really neat properties to it. The thinning medium you're going to find is sealed. This is because, again, I'm saying this is going back. Yeah, this is going back to the original Genesis when it was a lot softer than what. I just need a paper towel here to get this off. I don't want to contaminate my samples here. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. The thinning medium is soft, but it's gelled. It's just not as thick as as what the new stuff is coming in. But this is thinning medium, guys. So it needs to be thin. In order to thin something. So, and it will have a little bit, if it sits for a long time, it will have a little bit of oil that maybe comes to the top. And that's the same as what the old Genesis used to do.
You just stir it.
When we did shows, we had a lot of mishaps happen because the oil used to leak out all over the place.
And shipping.
And
Until we
shipping
got
was
these
terrible.
seals. Thank God we have these now.
And so now this is going back to way back then for the original recipes as we go. And you saw how clear that was. Like you can see right through
You're going
it.
to use it in a minute anyway, right?
It's not milky or looks like anything else. But okay, the skin text, we've had some samples going out with the stuff, and this
love
seems to
really popular.
Popular one.
Now we've been playing around with the name a little bit, so I think we.
Oh yeah.
It's not skin text. It's
no,
satin text.
It's a satin text
because we called it skin text, skin X, and everybody was going, "What's this?"
Yes.
But this we're calling it satin text. Just if I can interject here. Because it is thicker than your normal satin medium,
and it holds its form.
It holds its form, so it's great for that dewy skin.
Yeah.
But Shelley says you can thin it down with odorless solvent.
Yeah, you just put
and turn it into your satin.
And it's that. So it's a multi-purpose, and I'm really happy about that. I love when I buy multi-purpose.
At first I said, I know, but I said, well, why don't we make two things? And she said, no.
No.
Because they can just thin it down.
I'll let you guys do the work. Put a couple of drops of solvent in it, and you got satin.
Yeah, so she's always looking out for your best interest, folks. Yeah.
And then we come down to the matte. Of course, everybody wants the matte. Now, I have to be quite honest with you. The matte is not quite looking the way it's very matte, and I've even got a satin here, or I even got a sample. Thank you here. I wanted it to get it a little clearer than that, and I'm still going to work on that. In the meantime, this works fine.
Yeah. It dries perfectly.
Dries perfectly. You do it at the 265 to 270. Our manufacturer had suggested 270 degrees for 8 to 9 minutes.
But our testers have good luck at 265.
Have said at 265 they seem to be doing just fine.
But don't forget, the manufacturers aren't used to thin layers like what we use in doll making.
That is true.
So probably the 270 is that setting. That's that key. What do I want to say? What's the word? Curing point.
Yeah.
But being that we're laying it on thinner, maybe the 265 is just fine.
That could be. Yeah. That could be. Now there's my little sample. You can see the black. This is Genesis black, so it's not real shiny, but you can see that it did have a bit of a sheen, and then with the matte on top, it brought it right down. So there's no sheen.
Beautiful. It's very matte.
So it's very matte. Yeah. Black shows up matting a lot better on camera than regular colors do.
And then the gloss.
Okay, and then the gloss we have, and it's very glossy.
I'll clean this for you, sorry.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm going to show you this here because I was really happy with the gloss. This has got 2 layers, but it is so glossy. The second heating that I got on there, I got even a little dribble coming down because the gloss is a little bit on the thick side too. And being thick, that means that I can make it thick. But if you're going to do thick, then you need to do the 270 for the 9 minutes. If you add it on thin, like I put it on the ears very thin, and it was fine at 265 for 8 minutes. So it all depends.
So now, do you do the same here, Shelley, as you did with the satin? That you just thin it down with your odorless solvent?
Yeah, you can. It does thin down a little bit. Just put a little bit of solvent in it, or just make sure it's very, I want to say a little bit on the oily side, so it smooths very easily. It won't give you a texture, but if you drop it on, it will stay its form.
Oh, cool.
So, that's
very
cool.
Nice. So I think the thing that we're most excited about in coming ahead with opening up the mediums right now, only because of how much new formula Genesis is still sitting around there and people are afraid to use it. So are you going to show them this wonderful discovery? that.
So what is nice about, and I'm going to show you what people, because we have some new people out there that going, well, what's wrong?
What's new formula?
What's new formula? Yeah,
see,
exactly.
we have ends on here to say that this is all.
Or we have it.
The most recent batches of Genesis. Yeah, new formula.
And this one even says the new from the factory.
Yeah, right from the factory.
So this is new formula Genesis. Don't get it. We haven't come out with our colors yet, so don't get that confused yet. Okay, so what people, I do. People were complaining. First of all, you'll know that the old formula was very thick, and this is very stringy. Like, look at the like it's not even. It's very stringy, and people were not liking that. You scooped it in, and it seemed like I was getting it all over the place. But if I put it in here, I'm going to take a wad out of it.
And you're mixing it with your odorless solvent first.
And I'm also, while I got my knife out, I'm going to do the second bowl over here. And then I'll give you the knife and you can clean it off.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so I've got my two new Genesis formulas in there. And what I'm going to show you is how people were saying, oh, I don't like this, and it was a little bit more difficult to work with. They found that the new Genesis, because of the stringiness, it wasn't flowing onto the vinyl. It was kind of sticky like honey, and they had
some get specks too, right?
Yeah. And when they, this is odorless solvent, by the way, nothing real fancy. And I'm just going to put a wad of it in there so you can see what happens. When they were putting it in, it wasn't mixing very well. And you can see how it kind of sticks to the side. As I said, it's like honey.
Oh, and you can see it all dotting up.
It gets dotty, and you get little speckles all over the place. Now, stir. You can fix this. It's just time consuming, and I don't blame people. The last thing I want to do, I'm excited about painting. I don't want to sit here and start stirring. Even the amount of stirring I did, you can even see how it's all still pilling up and speckly. So you have to do a lot of stirring.
And then God forbid you put it on your
some people were complaining they put it on the doll and they still had specks coming through, and it was very
frustrating.
That's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to leave that in there. Now over here, what I'm going to do is show you a little
thinning.
Fix it. So what we want to do is actually fix this balling up, and this stuff doesn't mix very well. So what I'm going to do, this is the new Genesis. I'm going to take some of the Xodus thinner, and I usually keep it to less than 50%. That's usually a rule, and a little usually goes a long way anyways. But for this demo,
that was kind of the formula with Genesis as well, right?
Genesis always said not to use more than 50%.
Right.
But anyways, I'm going to mix this first into the gel.
Look at how smooth that is
and
right away.
See how it smooths it all out, and it's almost...
Wow.
Like there's no
That's
specks.
Amazing.
Now, you can use it this way, but that's not what we're going for. We're going for a wash.
Yes.
Many people want to do washes, and that's what I was trying with that.
Now you're going to add that.
So now I'm going to add the solvent into it. And
look
watch
at
this.
the difference. Look at even on this one here how you got the...
See, there's no specks in there whatsoever. It's as
beautiful
smooth as can be.
Now, Shelley, is that the same with all the other mediums too, if you're mixing any
I
of those?
never tried it with the other mediums, to be quite honest, because there wasn't any reason to. There are some people, if you want to do the satin text on it and with some thinner, they made their own what they called sealing sealers.
But I guess that can be for another video. You're going to do tutorials.
I was going to do. We're not here
I'm getting
all
way
day,
ahead of you
so
here.
Yes, that is possible to do. With no problem. But
probably won't be. But you're going to do individual tutorials on each of these. Okay.
And I guess what I want to show you is I'm going to take a scoop of this, and I'm going to show you how. See how nice and transparent. I could even add more solvent to that. That's not at a wash that I would like. I'd still add more solvent. But for this demo, I'm going to show you. This stuff, even, it kind of gels up. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the new formula, so I
have
no idea.
Quite,
and you see, this is, you see how
specks.
The little lumps and the specks happening. And there's not as smooth.
Right.
As what is what that is.
I can see the little speckles in
And
there.
that causes havoc, especially when you're pouncing.
Yes.
These little dots happening.
Yeah.
And I
So,
understood.
just to make sure that our viewers understand that this will work with both the original and the new formula the same way, and it will heat set at the same curing point.
That's right.
So
That's right.
it doesn't matter. Now, have you tried mixing, sorry, challenging you right on the video.
Yeah.
Have you tried mixing the original formula, new formula, and your product?
The original formula works fine with
gonna
it. It does absolutely nothing.
So
it's
it
like
won't
mixing the
matter.
two. It's like using Genesis
Very
and
cool.
Genesis.
So
It's
guys, we
very-
have tons and tons of Genesis still.
Yeah.
And we've got these new mediums that we can send to you along with your Genesis orders. Now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a introductory launch. And just let me look at what we talked about. So if you get our introductory kit, which is going to be the 5 mediums in a 3-gram jar. It looks like this, but it goes into a 3-gram jar.
Yep.
It's not 5 grams, it's 3 grams. We're going to sell you that for $15 to do some testing with. And we feel that to start off with, if you want to buy the new Genesis, the new formula Genesis, and you order a 1/2 ounce of the thinning, which will work with that, it's $8.99 introductory price.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
for a 1/2 ounce.
But
If you buy,
you have to buy the new formula, and
well,
then you
that's
get that reduced.
next. Just a minute.
Yeah.
So it's $8.99 for our introductory price for the 1/2 ounce. But if you get $25 worth of the new formula Genesis, we will throw in the 1/2 ounce free.
Nice. That's a surprise. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So okay.
Nice.
So just as an introductory offer, just so that people can get it out there and try it. We've sent it out to some people. We were at a doll show. Excuse my voice, by the way. I've got a bad cold, but I'm at the end of it. We were at a doll show, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, about a month ago.
And we handed out 12 sets.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've heard back from 8 to 9 of those, and every one of them just love it.
Yeah,
So
the one girl says, "When is it going out to market?"
it's got to get on the market.
So we decided. That's why we decided we wanted to get out with the mediums. We know the mediums is what's running out
Right.
there, and people hate the Genesis.
We were hoping to do it all at once, but we thought, you know what?
Yeah.
We got so much Genesis still anyway, so let's get the mediums
Let's get the
out
mediums out. Now, I do have to mention one thing. The matte medium, the new formula Genesis matte medium that everybody is supposed to be now doing at a lower temperature at 150, I think, Fahrenheit,
there. Okay.
is what the recommendation is, will not work. That's the only one that will not work with the system.
Oh, okay.
Because of the very low temperature. So don't even try
Oh.
it. It will cure, but what happens with that matte from the new Genesis formula, it turns shiny when it goes to a higher temperature.
Right. So once
So-
it gets to over that temperature point,
Yeah.
it'll go shiny.
So if you
Which,
ended up...
okay,
Yeah.
worst case scenario is you got to mat it up again.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Just use it as a dewy skin or something, and...
Sure, yeah. Or don't use the Genesis, use the Exodus.
Yeah, that's right.
So I hope you like the name Exodus. We kind of played on the fact that we're the next chapter.
And there is going to be YouTubes with little thorough explanations of the product, and I also compare them with the Genesis in the YouTube.
Yeah.
So you should be able to see the difference between
Right.
the two.
We're just trying our best to have you have the look and feel as much like Genesis as possible. So, okay. Thank you so much, Shelley.
All right.
Thank
And
you,
thank you, Shelley.
ladies.
And bye, everybody.
Great information. Thank you,
Bye.
ladies.
Bye.